Hi, I'm Mark. I help development teams create software more efficiently using principles from Agile, Lean, some common sense, and a bunch of hard work. If you do much of anything in the Agile space, you're going to hear about Agile Transformations. Agile Transformations are a popular way for organizations to try to become Agile. The idea sounds great. You hire a consultant to come in and then spend a few months helping transform your organization to be Agile. Almost sounds like magic, right? You simply pay a big chunk of money, and at the end of that, your organization can now say they've been transformed into a powerhouse of Agile activities. So do transformations like this make any sense? Well, maybe if the way to achieve agility is to transform, but maybe not if the path to agility actually involves something else. So it's worth reminding ourselves what Agile actually means. Agile is a set of 4 values and 12 principles. The values are things like, we value working software more than we value comprehensive documentation, and we value responding to change more than we value following a plan. The principles are things like, the most efficient way to communicate is face-to-face, and teams need to take time to reflect and adjust the way they work to be more effective. And progress is primarily measured in terms of working software. You can watch my What is Agile video if you want to see a discussion of all the Agile values and Agile principles, but let's consider these in terms of trying to do a transformation. Let's say that right now, your organization is really heavy on creating tons of documentation. To become Agile, you need to make a shift toward placing more emphasis on working software. Does that sound like something you can do by transforming? In most organizations where I've worked, shifting what the organization values is difficult. It isn't something that just happens overnight. It takes a lot of time because it isn't a matter of changing what people do, it requires changing how they think. What about the principle that says the most efficient way to communicate is face-to-face? Can an organization suddenly transform to follow that principle? Probably not. Sure, the CEO could dictate that no one is allowed to talk to anyone else unless it's face-to-face, but that's going to be counterproductive. There's a big difference between following a dictate to have face-to-face meetings and an overarching principle followed by an organization because everyone believes in it. My point is that most of the things that define an organization as being agile are fairly ineffective if they are simply mandated from the top down. They have to become part of the culture and the DNA of that organization. You can make people change, but you can't make them value change simply by sending a memo. Agile is something organizations grow into. They don't just become Agile, they develop maturity in following Agile principles and making decisions according to Agile values. If Agile is about growth, then maybe thinking in terms of transformation isn't helpful. Worse, maybe it's even damaging. Imagine you meet someone who claims to be able to transform your toddler into an adult. Would you want them to do that? No? Well, why not? Wouldn't you prefer they just be transformed into an adult without all the hard work of growing up? Of course not. The process of growing up is how they mature, and even if you could somehow transform a kid into an adult, you wouldn't want to. It would miss the entire point of becoming an adult, which is growing into that level of maturity. The step-by-step process of growing up every day is what makes a successful adult. The same thing is true for Agile. Agile is about continually getting better at following the Agile values and principles. You don't just transform, you evolve and grow and improve. If you try to skip the process, you end up with the organizational equivalent of a child running around in a full-grown adult body. By the way, this isn't hypothetical. There's a gene mutation that can make boys grow up extremely quickly, which is how Raymond Burley came to be the youngest U.S. soldier in World War I by saying he was 20 years old. After being poisoned by mustard gas, they discovered his age and sent him home. He had enlisted when he was only 11. Bringing agility to an organization is not a matter of flipping a switch. Just like growing up into a mature adult, achieving agility is a process of evolving step by step. Good leadership can help make sure the process stays on track, but it isn't a Superman-style transformation from non-agile to agile. You can't skip the maturation process, and you shouldn't try to. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it useful, please check out some of my other videos and subscribe to be notified when we release new cartoons to help your team on their path to agility.